Welcome to the Global Connection, a Tel Aviv University podcast. Journey with us as we discover how TAU's academic community and friends are engaging with and helping to shape this ever-changing world. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Global Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Anna Sajecki, and today I'm joined in the studio by two TAU students. We have Amit Gershon and Mary Absawy, who are here to talk a little bit about this year's Model UN Conference. So, Amit, you're the president of Tau Moon, also TAU Model UN, the society. From what I understand, you've been involved since 2020, so not your first time at the rodeo. And you're in your final year of your bachelor's degree in political science and government. And Mary, you're a board member and the director of operations, correct, for Tau Moon. And you've been involved for about a year, would you say?
2 years.
2 years, 2 years, all right. And you're currently completing your bachelor's here, a dual degree in communications and media studies, as well as in arts. So welcome to you both. I'm glad to have you here today.
Super glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. So before we jump right into the conversation, I wanted to take a step back and maybe you can let me know a little bit about what Model UN is. I know it happens all around the world. I think it's related to the United Nations, but beyond that, what do you do with Model UN?
Sure. So Model UN is a diplomacy program in which students simulate committees of the United Nations. Usually the students who get there are enthusiastic and really care about foreign relations, and they want to become diplomats. So that kind of program actually provides them the tools to be a diplomat, like negotiations, writing speeches, reaching agreements and resolutions, and the actual rules of procedure in UN committees. So when you finish this program, you can actually do what a UN representative does in a committee. You actually get the exact things to do to become one yourself. And the way it works is that, first of all, we train them here in Tau Moon, and we have simulations every week for about 70 students per year in different committees. It could be Security Council, Human Rights Council, Food and Agriculture Organization. It could be everything. You get assigned to a country, you get assigned to a committee and to a specific topic. You have to research about it, and then you act as if you were the exact representative of that specific country. So we do that for simulations, which takes like 2.5 hours. But the main goal at the end is to represent the society and the university in conferences, which are mostly international conferences. We travel abroad. We travel to the Netherlands, to Italy, to Germany, all over, perhaps even new continents and countries. And we go to conferences, which takes about between 3 to 5 days, in which you go out to, as I said, represent your society. And you're in the committee for a whole day. You start at 9, you finish at 5, and throughout the entire day you have to act as if you were that person from that country. So it's really like
amazing. It's very, very cool. Mary, did you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I just want to add something that MUNs in general are run by students, for students, and it's voluntary. So we pick students to be a part of this program, and they actually volunteer to train other students from what they have been trained from years before. So I think it's a very amazing platform for everyone who wants to take part in helping the upcoming generations, and also having a platform to actually enrich and practice their management skills and other skills they may need for other professions in their upcoming career.
Super cool. So it's volunteer-based. It's kind of like a mentorship program in some ways then.
Yes.
So you're both volunteers in terms of your roles, what you do.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So what brought you to Tau Moon or MUN? Do you have an interest in diplomatic relations?
Wow. I am not connected to in any way to the diplomacy field, but I joined Talmud because I wanted an international community in Tel Aviv University. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to help foreigners to integrate more into the Israeli community and be with them and get to know them. And I felt like it's a very good opportunity for me also to experience an international kind of atmosphere and also practice my other skills that I might need for, future career development. I started as a student actually, like just a regular student participating in the program. And then I decided to be a project manager. And at the end of the year, I was asked to run for the elections to the board, and now I'm stuck with Talmud forever. They
Okay.
are my family, and I have learned so much from them and with them. I grew with them. So once you start, you don't finish.
Okay. Okay. You're in it now and you've got a whole new family
Yes.
then. All right. Very cool. And what about you? What brought you to Tau
Um,
MUN?
so I started school, like studying pretty much spontaneously during COVID. That wasn't actually my plan, and I just got an email, and I was like, okay, I like talking in English. I used to be a shaliach in the Jewish agency. I spoke as a representative as part of my IDF service for like different lectures in English. I was like, okay, let's do that. And then I wasn't actually into school at the first few weeks, but then I started Talmud, and I was like, okay, that's the vibe. I'm like, okay, I like those people. I like to do that. I like to research myself because it combines both the social aspect and like the geeky side of yourself as well, and you get to be a professional in what you do. So I found it amazing. And yeah, I felt like it's kind of a spoiler that Mary said that, but we really become close. Um, it's really weird, but we really become family here on campus. Talmud actually combines students from the entire university. It's not only people coming from studying communications or political science. We've got international students. We've got people coming from arts. So you get to experience lots of different kinds of people, and to find the people that you match with. And one last thing is that I actually had a conversation with one of our board members recently, who is not from here originally. She's from a different country, and she told me that she's did Aliyah, and the people she talked to on campus, they usually talk about like the Big Brother or Israeli politics. So it's like a really specific kind of conversation. But then when you get to Talmud, it's like a different method of thinking. The entire people, they think globally. The
True.
interests are different. So it's a community for people who think abroad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So even in your everyday political conversations, then all of a sudden you have this lens that you're taking to it, which is kind of a global lens, and it's part of the training that you get through
Yeah.
the program. Very cool. So you're both in the thick of it right now. Can you tell me a little bit about your roles and what your day-to-day life is in terms of how you work with Talmud?
Sure. You go.
Um, so this is my third year in Talmud.
Okay.
First year I was a delegate. Second year was a board member and head of academics, which means having the lectures for the students. And for the past over a year, actually, I've been the president of the society, which means being head of society and running the board. Um, it has a lot to do with leadership, connecting with embassies and the Aguda and the Tawi, of course, um, to raise funds to make sure everything happens, um, and to maintain the society.
Okay. Okay. So you're really looking at it from a broader view then and just making sure everything's in place to keep it going.
Yeah, we've got like our agenda of connecting with more international schools uh, across the world, because after COVID it was kind of challenging because we lost touch with lots of MUN societies, and they exist from like they didn't have them anymore in some schools, so we had to restart everything. So we've had a pretty challenging year. Um, and to have more simulations. So we each, when we run to the board, we've got like a platform, and we actually do the things that we are obliged to do as part of our platform. So it's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Okay. So you've been rebuilding connections with international schools around the
Yeah.
world then. And these simulations, are they virtual? Do you
Mm.
travel a little bit ever?
Okay. So we have simulations and guest speakers here,
Mhm.
which we have together with others Amiens societies in Israel,
Okay.
which is also something that we had to restart. Um, but the way we contact with people from abroad is traveling to their conferences and having them over here,
Okay.
and we become like really like cliques or good friends of people coming from different universities. So
Great.
that's the
Yeah.
way we do it.
Yeah. You're finding global friends all
Yeah.
over the world. Mary, what about you? What does your day-to-day life look like?
So I have been 2 years in Talmud. The first year, I was a delegate. I was a part of the society, and I became a project manager of something called UN News. So, as Amit said in the beginning, we simulate the UN, and basically, for students to be updated with everything that's going on, we had a project that every class, someone of the society has to present what is going on in the world right now, highlights of the most important things. So I was managing this. And then I became to manage the operations this year, which is being part of the board. Um, my day-to-day basis looks like booking rooms for our classes, being in touch with the student union and Tau International, for fundraising and any logistical needs, in case we need to do an event or contact embassies, or also planning the socials, because as we said, we're not only here to teach people about what is model UN or the United Nations. We're also a community, we're also friends. So in order to manage these connections, we have socials taking place after every class, and sometimes on Jewish holidays or Muslim holidays or Christian holidays. So we bond together, and this is my responsibility to think ahead of which events I want to do for the society and so on. So yeah, it's basically taking care of any logistical needs, printing, organizing, bringing things.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah.
So you both really are engines that are keeping it going. I can imagine that's a lot of work keeping tabs on what's actually happening with the UN then. And if you're providing news updates in terms of progress and conversations and things like that. So kudos to you both. So part of the reason why you're here today is because the conference has started.
Sure.
It's an annual conference that happens. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Is it your favorite part of the whole UN society, would you say? Like, is it sort of the culmination of everything is running these conferences? Or maybe there's another exciting part that you prefer, but I'm curious about that.
I think it is actually the most exciting part, because we usually do it at the end of every academic year. So, seeing the results of your super hard work during the year, because we have also students from our society who participate in the conference. So we see actually how good did we train them, how good they're representing, Tau. Doesn't matter if it's happening here at the university or not, but seeing the results of your work all in this conference, it's extracted to be in this conference.
Hmm.
So it's very exciting, but can be super stressing at the same time.
I hear that. I hear that. So, do people,
Sounds better.
especially the visitors here, do you get a tiny bit of time off to go to the beach at all, or it's all business and all UN during the conference?
No, we bring them here to show them what is Tel Aviv and what is Israel. Um, And during last years, actually, we had post programs for them, to after the conference finishes, that they can go to the beach or to Jerusalem or to the Dead Sea, so they can explore more. So we have, also the professional and model UN aspect, but we also have socials after every debate sessions, at the end of the day of each conference. And some people go to the beach after, some people go other days and stay longer after the conference. They're coming from abroad, they're paying a lot of money. Here Israel is not the uh
Not the cheapest
not
place on
the
earth.
cheapest place on
Right,
earth.
right. That's a fair
So
statement.
they stay for longer days. After the conference, they go to the beach, they have fun. We go together with them. We don't let them. We show them around where they're tour guides, or
Okay.
however you'd like
So
to call
there's really a hospitality
Yes.
aspect too, which I think is sort of the ideal UN too, right? It's issues, but it's also sort of building those connections between countries. So
Yeah,
very cool.
definitely.
So how many participants you have in the conference this year?
So this year, we're about 130 participants. I think
Mhm.
110 of them are delegates.
Okay.
We've got students coming from, of course, Israel, from our society, and also from other societies in Israel, which, as I said, is something that started again after a few years.
Mhm.
We've got students coming from Germany, a lot coming from
A
Germany.
lot of German.
Yeah,
Okay.
from Hamburg and Freiburg, from Luxembourg, France, Italy, the Netherlands, mostly Europe. We've got people coming from China and the States as well. And we have 7 different committees. As I said, we've got Security Council, we've got the FAO, we've got the UNHCR, we've got press corps, which is something quite special, where delegates could actually act as if they were journalists of different newspapers. And we've got a crisis committee.
In the ICJ.
And of course, sorry, we've got the International Supreme Court of Justice.
Okay.
Sorry, the International Court of Justice.
Right.
And we've got the crisis committee,
Okay.
which is usually historical. The delegates get allocated to different personas from different eras and targeting specific countries, like specific crisis, like the oil crisis or the race to the moon. So that's really special,
Okay.
and that's something that our students I think like the most, the
Sure.
crisis committees, and it's really common in the States as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you plan all of it? Like from deciding, do you decide which delegate represents which country, which UN bodies you want to be representative at the conference, what the big issues are that will be discussed? That's all
Yeah.
you and your team.
So first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to Avi Wallachy, which is the Secretary General of the TLVM in 2023. He's done an amazing job getting this incredible conference together. So Avi actually creates a team made of mostly Talmud Society members, and he's got 4 USGs, Undersecretary Generals, for academics, external relations, communications, and then they have their own sub teams, and then they have different brands of running the conference. They get in touch with other societies all over the world, and then once we've got the entire participants, we divide them into those committees, and they have like preparations of which committees and countries they want to participate as, and then we allocate them a few weeks before they research and we start the conference.
Okay.
I can explain a bit more how things work. So basically, for instance, I'm also the Undersecretary General of Logistics for this year's conference. So basically, I have a team, and each and every one of these people are responsible for something else. So I have person who is responsible for planning the socials, which are the big events that happen after the debate session.
Tell them about the socials.
I'll get to that in a second. And I have other people managing delegate inquiries. If any delegate has anything to like they want to ask us, or any inquiries, as I said, they have. So other people managing that and that. And we have the academics team, which is another undersecretary general, and under them, it's the team that picks chairs, that they decide which topics that are going to be debated upon in the conference. And the academics team are also responsible for allocating people, because we have registration forms, and every person coming, they get to decide in which committee they want to participate and like which country they would like to represent. So they allocate them, based on their preferences. But if it doesn't work, they just make an alternative for them. And yeah,
Okay.
that's how it works.
Okay. So you were mentioning Crisis Committee is one of the big popular committees. What are some of the big topics of discussion on the agenda?
In the conference at all?
Yeah, sure. You can talk about the conference in general. If there's a particular body, UN body you want to talk about,
Yeah.
you can talk about that too.
So first of all, the theme of the conference is at the crossroads of continents. We really thought of what makes Israel different, which is connecting between all three continents here. We've got a different, we've got a really, how should I say that? Interesting culture here, combining lots of aspects, lots of cultures here, lots of religions. So we thought that's something that should guide the entire topics of the entire conference, and to think of the strategical aspect of Israel here. One of the topics that I am more related to is the Food and Agriculture Organization's topic, which is about live animal export. It's something that I personally really push to make it happen because I really care about it. It's about finding solutions to get animals who are being transported across continents and across nations to not suffer during those travels. Those are travels for like 3 weeks in which they get diseases. A lot of them die. It's really, really big terms. So the United Nations is a body that could actually find a proper solutions for countries, because it's really complicated. You've got like some of them are a stock for people to eat, for example. So you could have like ethical or moral questions. Maybe we should send them. That's a really complicated thing, but maybe the ethical thing to do is to not have them suffer, and to actually let them be shipped in a fridge.
Okay. Okay.
That's why, because perhaps you don't suffer. So
You're
it's like
coming
ethical
from an
questions.
agriculture and farming perspective then
Yeah,
when we're talking about animals.
exactly.
Right?
So it's that, and of course about financial solutions that you could come up with financial bodies of the UN and different countries and the private sector. So it's a really interesting committee because you could have the ethical aspect of it, the philosophical question, as well as the practical solutions that the UN can provide.
Okay. Okay. And what about you, Mary? Is there a conversation you're most looking forward to?
Not really. Because I have been overwhelmed with, managing every logistical aspect of the conference.
Right.
So I was
You just want it to go well. That's your
I
goal.
want it to go well, and I'm so happy that everyone is happy. It's very unfortunate that I didn't get to be in touch with the academics team to, look at what they're actually doing and what is happening in the committees. I would have loved to, but it's been overwhelming, and we're a small team. So we just have to make sure that everything is going well, especially that we have a relatively big conference this year. We have like 130 people coming. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. 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 So what does a typical day look like for the conference? Like what's happening today on the ground?
So the conference starts with the opening ceremony and the chair debrief. First of all, the chairs coming here are mostly not Israeli. They are people coming from abroad. So the entire connections that we have with them are not face to face before the conference. So we meet them we debrief about how the conference should go, um, about the vibe and all the aspects of Israel here, because they need to maintain a committee of 15 people each, 15 students, sorry. So we've got the opening ceremony with speeches, and then for 4 days we've got sessions from 9
Yeah,
to
in the
5,
morning.
and once the day finishes, they go to their hostel and they dress up and they go to the social, which starts at 7.
Okay.
So you want to talk about the socials?
So this year, we closed 3 amazing socials. We had to cut down the conference from like a lot of days to only 3 days, in general, if you accumulate all the days together. So we get only to do 3 socials. So the first night, which was yesterday, we had a social, like a networking social, get to know each other, mingling at the Tel Aviv City Hall rooftop.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
At
we
sunset.
Wow. Pretty
during
good.
sunset,
Pretty
they
good.
saw everything. They saw the amazing Tel Aviv. Oh, sorry, that was like 2 days ago.
That was 2 days ago.
Oh, I lost
Time is
count
going
of time.
quickly. I get it.
And yesterday, we had another social, which was a bigger party. We had it at the Kikar Atarim. It's a social space in Tel Aviv that was, it's under the Tel Aviv municipality, and it's managed by the community for the community. So you can basically rent it out to do any social event that you want, fundraising or any other thing that has like a social aspect of it. Yeah. And today we are going to the Norwegian ambassador's residence.
Okay.
There we have the diplomatic gala night, which I think it's like the star of every MUN conference. We also do like big, insane parties, but we also have to maintain this diplomatic theme of MUN. So we do gala nights. The theme is a diplomatic gala night, and everyone should come dressed in suits, fancy clothes, just for the
Wow.
just for the fun of it.
And we finished the conference at the closing ceremony, and I do mention that we've got 3 guests coming during the conference to have lectures. We had a former Israeli parliament member who is now a diplomat, and a few more. So we of course combine lectures and the diplomatic content that the students are looking for.
Okay. So I have to say, my perception is that I have 2 very intelligent young professionals before me, and I'm multiplying that by, you said there are 130 people participating in the conference. So with that in mind, and the conversations going on, is there something we can learn from the conference that the UN itself could benefit from? What do you think?
Oh, that's a very tough question.
Do you feel like the conversations are a little bit different? Are they, are there really topics of importance that you and your peers are talking about that really should come to the attention of the United Nations?
Talmud, at the end of the day, provides the professional tools, and a few members of the society, especially those who were president or chairpersons, were actually working for the UN after they finish here. And we've heard from them about how it actually goes in the hallway of the UN, and because of diplomatic restraint, some delegates can't talk to another. For example, Israelis can't talk to Irani,
Right.
so they can't talk to each other in the hallway. And I get that, but
Yeah.
I think what we do here is that everybody talks to each other.
Yeah. There's amazing spirit
that's
of
my
open
tip, yeah.
communication. Talk to each
Talk
other.
to each other. But really, I think the main aspect of the UN is that every committee must reach any kind of agreement, because the goal is to pass a resolution. So you have to find those common grounds. You don't want any country to veto it. You want the country to take part. You want it to be something that they could actually implement to their countries. So the thing about communication is that no matter how you do it, just try to be as communicative as you can, because you want to get those results, and that's the only way you can do it.
Guys, communications is key.
Communications is key. I agree. Well, on that note, I want to thank you both for communicating as part of the podcast today. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful conference and event that you're putting on. Sounds like you've been doing a great job so far, and good luck with the final days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
You're
It was
welcome.
a big, big pleasure.
You're welcome.
so
Thank
much.
you, Mary and Amit.